Hello everybody, and welcome to another video. I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley Sage Sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life to make life a little kinder and simpler. Today I want to talk about my holy Trinity of Health. And when I spell holy in this, it's with a lowercase w, capital H-O-L-Y. Because when I spell holistic or holy, I spell it with that lowercase w because I'm talking about a whole system, W-H-O-L-E, the whole system, not just divine or holistic in the sense of natural, but in the sense of the whole system, mind, body, and spirit. So that's why I like to talk about my holy Trinity of Health, which is the mind, body, and spirit, because when the mind, body, and spirit are healthy, happiness comes naturally. And it's important to have all three healthy, not just because you end up with a natural happiness, but because that's the most balanced state of being in a human body, is having the mind, body, and spirit in a healthy, balanced, aligned place. So if we start with the body, physical health, those things are pretty obvious. You have your nutrition and your exercise, and that can also get into, they all kind of overlap like a Venn diagram to some degree, because in order for your body to be healthy, your mind has to be healthy. In order for your mind to be healthy, your body has to be healthy. And in order for those to be healthy, your spirit has to be healthy. But when we're sticking just to the body, you've got your nutrition and your physical health. Then we get to the mind, and that's the mental health, where, like I said again, in order to have good mental health, you also want your spirit to be healthy. They all overlap, but when we're dealing just with mental health, you've got things like mindset that are massive when it comes to making sure that your mental health is healthy, making sure that the people you're around, what you consume in general. And when I say what you consume, I mean the people you're around, the things you eat, the things you wear, the shows you watch, the social media you consume, anything that you could consume, you need to be aware of, because we are what we consume. So that goes to the mental health. But what I find most people don't understand, whether they're spiritually centered people or not, is that the spirit aspect is what drives human beings to be the most happy and healthy. And when the spirit aspect isn't taken care of, like I said, whether you're a spiritually centered person or not, whether you're religious or not, there's still a spirit aspect, there's still a spirit component to your health. And that is your purpose in life. That is your why for living. And when people don't have a purpose in life, when people don't have a why that drives them to get up in the morning, they are sad and lonely and miserable. And this is where I talk about how the spirit overlaps with the mental health aspect, because without that purpose and drive from your why you live, why you are excited to get up in the morning, without that, people are miserable. And so many people, that is what they're lacking, is their spirit health. This comes from whether you're a, like I said, spiritually driven person, a religious person, or not at all. You could be a complete atheist and still have this spirit aspect. Most people would just consider it a mental aspect in that case, but I still consider it a spirit aspect to your life. That comes from your priorities, your values, your morals, and a few other things that I work with my clients on that motivate us to get up in the morning, because we're driven by our whys for life. So this is why when I help clients, or just friends in general, when I do help them with these things, why I help them with all three, and why when I'm talking with people, I ask them, because it's pretty obvious. People know they need to stay in shape or whatever, or make sure they're eating healthy, yada, yada. But the mental health aspect, and especially the spirit health aspect, are overlooked. People think they're just doing all right, and that's enough. Because I think in the world in general, this idea that mental health illness is normal, is usual, is an average thing for people to have not be healthy, has become the norm. And that's not actually the case. What isn't being distinguished is the fact that there's actually mental illness, and then there's everyday life that we experience more and more. We experience in an increasing way is making us, because of just the way society is making us more sad. But it's still not mental illness. It's still not a chemical imbalance. And dealing with traumas is another thing entirely. And that can all affect a person's spirit aspect of their health, their drive, their purpose, their motivation, their whys for living. So I want you all to take a minute to ask yourself, are you happy? Are you really happy? And then I want you to ask yourself, do you really have your physical health in a place of actual healthiness? Are you taking care of your physical health? The answer may be yes or no, depending on who you are. But then I want you to ask yourself, are you taking care of your mental health? Are you really? Are you investing in your mental health to the same degree you might invest, maybe for those who do invest in their physical health, like supplements or a gym membership? Do you have a gym membership for your mind? And really, that brings us to the spirit aspect of your health. Are you taking care of your spiritual health? Do you even know what your why for living is? When I have people who are in dead-end jobs that they hate, the first thing I do is start asking them questions about their whys for living. And some of them haven't even considered their whys for living. They don't even know what their purpose is. And some people know or have an idea of what they might want to do as an ultimate job. And so that can bring us back to their whys for living. But so few people actually consider these things and then wonder why they're miserable. And it's because their Holy Trinity of Health, as I show it in my graphics as a triangle with spirit on top and then mental and physical health as the base, so few people invest in their mental health. So few people invest in their spiritual health. And so really more and more people are letting their physical health slide. And they wonder why they're experiencing influxes of actual mental illness. They're wondering why they're experiencing influxes in things like depression or even just sadness, or experiencing trauma because they're not upholding their boundaries, because they don't even know what their priorities are. All of these things contribute heavily to our happiness because they contribute to our healthiness. And when you have your healthy mind, body, spirit ecosystem of the human body actually healthy and balanced, like I said, happiness comes naturally. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for another video. I am in the process of, but at the end of, taking applications for my next session cycle. So if you are considering or would like to consider working with me one-on-one, I highly recommend you hit me up now. You can email me, you can fill out the form that is in the link in the description. I really thrive in a place of striving to, as I've started saying recently, putting the fun and healing back in the fundamentals of mental health. And that's better understood in its graphic when I, capitalize things. But I really do want to put the fun and healing back in the fundamentals of mental health, because it is so important to me. Mental health, especially, which, as I said, overlaps with spiritual health, which overlaps, all three of them overlap, spiritual, mental, and physical health, in this beautiful Venn diagram that in the center of that is happiness. And so many people have come to look at, especially the mental health industry, especially the coaching industry, as this toxic place. And I don't blame them, which is why I want to help people who want to be excited and stimulated and expanded, and they want to be excited about growing and expanding. I'm ready to help those people who were just waiting for someone who could make growing and expanding fun rather than tedious. As I say, change doesn't have to be painful, and healing doesn't have to be hard. And I truly believe that, because not only have I experienced that myself, but I've experienced it with my clients. It doesn't need to be hard to get your shit together. Pardon my French. It doesn't have to be hard to get your life together. You just have to have those whys motivating you to get up in the morning. And I want to help you do that. I want to help you, if you don't already know what your why is, discover your why. And if you do already know what your why is, I want to help you get to a place where it motivates you every day to be excited to get up in the morning and do what it is that you love to do in the world. So, like I said, you can email me, or you can use the link in the description to fill out my form so that we can get connected if you're ready to work with me one-on-one, to connect, to living your best life. I don't have any other way of putting it, really. Sometimes I call it leveling up in life. I like to calling it getting your shit together. But really, it's all about being able to live your best life. And one of the ways in which I do this is I make sure not to impart my own values, but really I've adopted a system that works for all value systems. So that's the first thing I do, is what I call a wellness inventory, which is made up of figuring out what that person's values and priorities are and where they are in their holy Trinity of health, so that we can design their ideal life. It has nothing to do with what I think an ideal life looks like. And it's the most rewarding, most amazing thing that I've ever done, which is why I do it. Anyway, may the energy you serve you well. Check out the links in the description, and let's keep making our way through.